Willow slapped me in public, just to impress some other guy. That very day, I deleted and blocked every single way she could reach me. Everyone around us was stunned. After all, Willow and I had grown up together. I had liked her for over 10 years. I'd even sworn I'd marry her one day. When Willow confronted me, angry and indignant, she demanded, "Why? Just because I slapped you? Can't you stop being so petty? You're a man, aren't you?" I just sneered, my voice quiet but cutting. "The day before you slapped me, remember what you said to someone else? Should I help you recall it?" Her face went pale. For the first time, she was speechless. We had been born in the same hospital, her a few hours earlier, but our lives were tied from the start. Our parents were neighbors in the same village. When our neighborhood was demolished, we ended up in the same apartment building. Willow hit puberty earlier, and as kids, she used her height and confidence to boss me around, treating me like her shadow. I, on the other hand, was quiet, introverted, often sickly, and by 4th grade had become a magnet for bullies. Boys would steal my books, toss trash into my water cup, sometimes even shove me hard from behind. I cried to the teacher for help, only to hear, "Why do they only pick on you? Maybe it's because you can't fit in. Partly your fault, too." After school, I told my parents, and by chance, Willow's dad, Uncle Liu, was visiting. He saw my tears and marched Willow over. "From now on, you'll walk to school with your little brother," he instructed. The next morning, Willow was waiting at the door, backpack on, hand ready. At school, she grabbed my hand, led me into the classroom, and when she saw the ringleader bullying me, she dragged him into the alley behind the bathrooms. I watched, wide-eyed, as she took down an entire group of boys with a calm, precise fury. "If you dare bully George again, you'll regret it," she said softly, but it hit me like a storm. Her hair lifted in the breeze, her faint smile and bright eyes making my heart race. I didn't understand love back then. Not really. But I knew this. As long as I could see her, I felt happy. From that day on, rain or shine, Willow waited for me, walked me to school, and picked me up afterward, even when she was sick. During morning recess, I stuck close to her, calling her Sister Willow, even when she pretended to be annoyed. "If you keep following me, I won't wait for you next time," she waved dismissively, but I never stopped. One day, after school, she wasn't at her usual spot. I searched the room she frequented. The security guard told me to leave. Dejected, I headed toward the bus stop, and finally saw her at a snack shop, chewing bubble gum as if nothing had happened. She handed me a candy, complaining, "Took you long enough." As we grew, I caught up to her in height, and eventually surpassed her. I began noticing subtle changes in her, the way she looked at me when I helped her with math, her shy tugs at my uniform on crowded buses, the quiet smiles that weren't really about the questions in front of her. After our high school entrance exams, both of us got into the city's top school. Her mom teased, "I've watched George grow up. He'd make a fine son-in-law." "Willow, how about making it official once you both get into college?" Willow blushed, ducking into my room, and I could hear my heart pounding. I shouted, reckless and unfiltered, "I like Willow. One day, I'm going to marry her." Everyone laughed, and I realized she heard it too. If you want, I can also turn this into a short, punchy version perfect for a YouTube video narration with suspense and emotional beats amplified for maximum storytelling impact. Do you want me to do that next? But that special feeling, it didn't last. By our final year of high school, everything started to shift. On the very first day, while the class waited for new textbooks, a boy walked in, sunlight catching his bright, confident smile. The teacher led him to the podium. "This is Makoto, a transfer student. Senior year is crucial, so help him fit in," she said. Makoto scanned the room, eyes glinting, and then he fixed his gaze on me. A friend whispered later that he'd announced, loud enough for the class to hear, that there was a simp in this class, someone who followed a girl around like a loyal sidekick. Gasps and murmurs rippled through the room. I swallowed hard, meeting his eyes. I didn't even need to turn around to know every single student was staring at me. Coming to this top-ranked school, I rarely ran into anyone from my old neighborhood. But rarely didn't mean never. And now, they saw me exactly as I'd been, a boy trailing behind Willow, and they snickered. No one had dared say it to my face before. Until now. Sorry, Wang, Makoto said, mockingly. I also heard you're proud. But seriously, you're a guy, always following a girl around? Isn't that a bit pathetic? She's not your mom. Or are you part of some special group? Willow slammed her hand on the desk, her chair tipping over with a loud bang. Makoto, that's enough, she snapped. Makoto's smirk faded, his gaze softening. Am I wrong, Liu? Honestly, you've been a little annoyed by his clingy behavior, haven't you? Willow pressed her lips together, silent, like she was admitting he had a point. Bang, bang, bang. The teacher rapped on the blackboard, and Makoto finally quieted. There's an empty seat. Go sit there, he ordered, pointing at the spot next to Willow. Focus on your studies. Don't bring childish nonsense into this room again. A few of you, go get the textbooks. As the group walked out, Makoto gave me a meaningful glance. I understood. When I returned with the books, my stomach dropped. The two who'd been at each other's throats minutes ago were now standing close together, a quiet intimacy that made my chest ache. Makoto's eyes gleamed with smug satisfaction. After school, Willow left hand in hand with Makoto. I watched them fade into the distance, then pulled a small cake from my drawer and shoved big bites into my mouth. It was her favorite flavor, not sweet at all. Everything that had happened that day replayed in my mind on a loop. That day, Makoto became the third wheel between Willow and me, and I knew, deep down, our relationship could never go back to how it had been. Within days, Makoto had woven himself into the rhythm of the class. He was effortlessly social, effortlessly close to Willow. I didn't understand it. I didn't understand how suddenly she didn't need me to bring her breakfast anymore. Brought you steamed buns, both your favorite flavors, I said, placing them on her desk. Willow kept her head down, organizing her drawer. Thanks, but you can take them back. I've already eaten, she muttered. Makoto held up a half-eaten bowl of long and sticky rice porridge, a smug smile on his face. Oh, didn't know you brought breakfast too. But Willow couldn't even finish this. Really, you don't need to keep bringing food, he said, curling his lip and ducking behind her. I froze. What did you just say? Something clicked in my chest. Isn't it better if you stop bringing breakfast? Focus on your studies. No need to fuss over trivial things, Makoto added. Willow finally looked up, her book set aside. Makoto's just trying to help. Don't be so petty, she said. That line hit me like a punch. My chest tightened, my head filled with question marks. I stared out the window at the sky, feeling that familiar ache settle back in my heart. If you want, I can also rewrite the next chapters in the same cinematic, emotional style so your whole story reads like a Netflix series, keeping tension, character emotion, and pacing intact. Do you want me to do that? Fine, I'm the petty one. It's all my fault. The words barely left my mouth before the entire classroom went silent, like the air itself had paused to listen. Makoto just sipped his porridge quietly, mouthing something sarcastic. She drank this. It's sweet, George. Willow's voice cut through like a knife, sharp and irritated. I couldn't take it anymore. I reached over and grabbed the steamed bun from her desk. Why are you yelling? You think I'll back down just because you raise your voice? My words hung in the air, tense and defiant. Willow froze. Her eyes widened. It was the first time I'd ever spoken to her like that. Instinctively, she reached for my hand, but I pushed it away. Don't be mad. I'll eat it. All right. Give me the buns. Keep bringing breakfast like before, I said, trying to reclaim the rhythm we'd once had. Willow's hands hovered in the air, gentle, patient, like she used to be. But my eyes drifted past her, and there it was, Makoto glaring at me with pure, unfiltered jealousy. I'd never seen anyone look at me like that before. He was the first. And from that day on, nothing was simple. Makoto made it his mission to make every moment a storm. I was a tiny boat caught in raging winds, no shelter, no calm. I excelled in science, ranked near the top of the class, but my language art grades were a public joke. Every time I answered a question, Makoto would mutter under his breath, "You don't even know that. What an idiot." His little circle of followers would laugh, turning my every word into fodder for mockery. During group discussions, before I could even finish my thought, he'd cut in, "I don't agree with that," and his entourage would descend into laughter. At first, Willow tried to defend me. "Come on, don't be like that. We're all classmates." But Makoto had a way of twisting everything. "I'm just doing it for his own good," he'd say. And just like that, Willow would fall silent, as if agreeing with him. Watching them together, laughing, chatting, every joke, every glance, it was like needles pricking my chest. Half a semester passed. My eyes were swollen, red from allergies, and Makoto turned it into a weapon. After school, I tried to slip away, sunglasses on, hoping to be unseen. Look at him. He spent the whole day lying on his desk, bet his eyes are swollen from crying. Makoto shouted, yanking the shades off my face. "Told you so." The room erupted again in laughter. Tears threatened to fall, but I swallowed them hard. "That's enough. You really think you're funny?" My voice cut through, sharp and low. Makoto just shrugged. "Relax. It's just a joke. Don't be so sensitive." But I knew. These weren't jokes. Not really. A fury rose inside me, hot and unstoppable. My fist shot out before I could think, landing squarely on Makoto's cheek. He went down, stunned, a bright red mark blooming across his face. "Are you looking to die?" he spat, gripping a desk to steady himself. I sneered at the powder residue on my fingers. "No wonder your skin's so thick. You caked on so much foundation." I turned toward the restroom to wash it off, only for Willow to grab my wrist. Her voice was cold, commanding. "Apologize." Why should I apologize to him? He hit me first. I shot back. Her face was unreadable. A sharp unfamiliarity settled in her gaze. "He's just joking." "Apologize. Don't make me hate you," she said, calm but firm. "I won't." I shouted, and the moment I said it, she slapped me across the face. The classroom froze. I touched my burning cheek and laughed. Childhood bonds, I realized, couldn't compete with sudden infatuation. I slung my backpack over my shoulder and walked out, the sound of Willow's worried voice fading behind me. "Makoto, are you okay? Come on, let's get you to the nurse." Outside, rain poured, soaking me to the bone. I didn't care. I walked head down through the streets, ignoring the stays, numb and furious. When I finally got home, the framed photo of our two families at last summer's amusement park caught my eye. I walked into my room. Every piece of clothing Willow had ever bought me was neatly hung. I grabbed a cardboard box and began tossing in everything that reminded me of her. Everything. Gone. On my nightstand sat the only photo of just the two of us. I ran my fingers over her smiling face one last time, then tossed it into the cardboard box with the rest of the things she'd given me. After sealing it shut, I carried it downstairs and dropped it into the garbage bin. Thud! The hollow sound echoed in the empty kitchen, like a punctuation mark on everything we had once been. Willow and I, we could never go back. A few minutes later, a knock at the door made me pause. I thought maybe my parents had forgotten their keys. But when I opened it, there she was. Willow, cold, unflinching. "George." I looked down. She was holding the same box I had just thrown away. Slowly, she pulled out our photo. "Why did you throw this away?" Her eyes scanned the rest of the items. "And all these, they were gifts from me. Why?" I smiled faintly, trying to keep the distance. "What I do with my stuff, what does it have to do with you?" Her gaze shifted to the faint red mark still lingering on my cheek. "I didn't even hit you that hard. Why is your face like this?" Her voice softened, almost breaking, and she reached out a hand. I turned away, dodging her touch. She had always been my closest friend, the one I ran to whenever the world felt too heavy. "I didn't mean to," she said anxiously. I didn't control my strength. Enough, I cut her off. From now on, we're just neighbors in the same building. Willow set down the box, grabbed my hand. "Why, George? Is it because I slapped you at school?" "Don't be such a child," I said, cold. "You're a grown woman. Can't you stop being petty?" I let out a bitter laugh. "Childish. Petty. Willow, From this moment on, we're done. Tears spilled over her cheeks. I didn't mean it that way. I was wrong. I'm sorry, okay? I don't need your apology. One by one, I peeled her fingers from my hand. Don't come bothering me ever again. Her face shifted. Shock, confusion, then a bitter, mocking smile. Fine, fine. You said it yourself. Don't come crawling back later. And with that, she turned and walked away, never looking back. Only when her footsteps faded down the stairs did I stand there, dazed, and quietly close the door. The next day at school, Willow and Makoto were officially a couple. They strolled in with bags of candy and dozens of bubble teas, placing one on every classmate's desk. I thought about telling her to focus on her studies, but quickly remembered, what did any of this have to do with me anymore? Everyone in class tacitly agreed to protect the new couple, keeping it an open secret from the teachers. It wasn't surprising. Makoto had quickly blended in with his sunny, extroverted personality. Handsome, confident, popular, and especially with the girls, he had a way of charming anyone. I'm a guy, but if anyone's bullying you, feel free to come to me, he had said once. What's wrong with hanging out with girls? They notice the good in people. They are clean, emotionally sharp, unlike some others. He had clearly meant me. Thanks to his jokes, a few classmates genuinely disliked him. But Willow? She remained blissfully oblivious, even encouraging me to talk to him more. I refused. Makoto noticed and shrugged dramatically to the nearby girls, pretending to look helpless. I get it. Shouldn't have said they've got a bad temper. Now I've really pissed them off. Ah, the twist of it all. He was the one bullying, yet somehow made it seem like we were the ones in the wrong. That afternoon, I couldn't keep it in anymore. I complained to my parents, letting out all my frustration. George, my dad said, calm and understanding. We've met people like him before. Don't worry about him. Just focus on yourself. It's best not to get too close to that kind of person. Right at that moment, Willow happened to be standing outside our door. Her face darkened when she overheard. She couldn't stand that kind of behavior. Uncle, Auntie, George, talking behind someone's back is not okay. The three of us laughed awkwardly, and I realized then, by this point, she and Makoto had already built their own close friendship. Makoto was decent at math, and sitting next to Willow gave him the perfect excuse to tutor her. She had always struggled with the subject. I used to be the one by her side, the only boy she ever really noticed. But after that first quiz following Makoto's transfer, the dynamic shifted so effortlessly, it was as if the world had decided he belonged there instead. He had a natural charm, knew about makeup and celebrity gossip, and somehow connected with all the girls in class, especially Willow's closest friends. In no time, she warmed up to him too, laughing at his jokes, passing secret notes, sharing smile that made me feel invisible. After school, she'd hop onto the back of his bicycle, giggling with their little group, her arms wrapped around him as if the last 10 years with me never existed. And I told myself it was just friendship. I clung to the memory of her liking me, convinced my feelings still mattered. But it wasn't truth. It was wishful thinking. One day, Makoto announced it out loud, with Willow perched on his lap. We're in a proper relationship, he said, voice loud enough for the entire class to hear, not hiding behind some childish childhood friend label to cling to her like glue. Then he added, pointedly, words aimed straight at me, and I'd appreciate it if certain classmates wouldn't report our relationship. Makes them look jealous. I stared at him, expressionless. Everyone knew. Everyone had seen how I'd grown up with Willow. Everyone knew how I felt. Even other girls in school who had tried giving me love letters had failed. Every single one tossed in the trash. There had only ever been one girl for me. And now, she wasn't mine. My desk mate glanced nervously at me. I didn't even lift my head, just kept working through the problems in front of me. The tension in the room was palpable. Makoto snorted and finally looked away, smug satisfaction lingering in his eyes. After that, Willow and Makoto grew inseparable. She'd slip her hair tie onto his wrist, playful and commanding, laughing in class like no one else existed. He always made sure to get her favorite lunch, and she'd ride on the back of his bicycle, arms wrapped tightly around him after school. At first, of course, it hurt. 10 years of closeness evaporating in moments. But slowly, I got used to it, or at least tried. Then one day, just as I thought I could keep my distance, Willow stopped me at the school gate. Her voice was low, her expression tangled with something I couldn't read. Part anger, part happiness. "George," she said, eyes searching mine. "Makoto called in sick today." I froze, confused. Then slowly, the pieces fell into place. She was testing me. "Did you hit him again?" she asked, suspicion sharp in her tone. I let out a bitter laugh. "Me? Hit him? I wouldn't even want to breathe the same air as him. Why would I go out of my way to mess with him?" But she didn't back down. Her grip on my wrist was firm, unrelenting, and her eyes, predatory, desperate, held mine. "George, I know you're upset that we're dating, but this is too much. Have you forgotten? You're the one who said we should act like strangers. Even if you're jealous, that's no excuse." Her words faltered. Her voice softened, urgent, almost pleading. "If you just apologize, we can pretend none of this ever happened. We can go back to how things were." I had enough. My chest tightened, words spilling out sharp and final. "Are you serious? It's broad daylight, and you're dreaming already. Let go of me. Apologize? I didn't do anything. You two want to date? Be my guest. Have 10 kids right now for all I care. Go get married and live happily ever after. Just leave me out of it." Her face went pale, stunned, but her hand didn't loosen. Just as I was about to pull free, a gentle hand brushed against Willow's arm. "Hey, is this how you treat your classmates?" I turned, and there she was, a girl in a dress around our age, with a mischievous glint in her eyes. Anna. The name escaped my lips before I even realized it. Anna, one of the school's top graduates, a year ahead of us, and the girl every boy had once had a crush on. What was she doing here? She caught my confusion and winked, sliding her arm into mine like it was the most natural thing in the world. Willow's expression soured immediately. I seized a moment, yanked my arm free, and ran, Anna laughing beside me, and I didn't look back. It was Wednesday, PE class, and I wasn't feeling great, but I brushed it off. When the whistle blew, I lined up for laps, trying to keep up with the other boys. Halfway through, the world went dark. My limbs turned weak, my vision blurred. I was having a hypoglycemia attack. I stumbled and collapsed to my knees on the track. Gasps erupted around me. Before I could even gather my thoughts, I felt a hand on my arm, steadying me. It was Willow. "Your blood sugar dropped again. Did you skip breakfast?" Her voice was sharp, worried, nagging, but underneath it all, there was care. "You can't run like this. Let me take you to the nurse." "Are you hurt?" I yanked my arm away. "Don't touch me. I can walk on my own." Her jaw clenched, eyes narrowing. "Is this really the time to throw a tantrum? Can you just care about yourself for once? I'll take you to the nurse. Then I'm leaving. Is that okay?" I let out a bitter laugh. Low blood sugar isn't a fatal illness. Sitting for a few minutes will fix it. Do I look like I'm dying? Willow's eyes flashed. "Why do you have to be so ungrateful?" I looked at her calmly. "If that's what you want to believe, then go ahead." She flung my arm away and stormed off, leaving me alone in the nurse's office. There weren't many people, just one girl on a cot. Anna. Again. I blinked. Didn't she already graduate and go to college? She caught my gaze and smiled, bright and unbothered by her injury. Her knee was wrapped in thick gauze, blood seeping through, but she didn't flinch. "Hey, Wang. What a coincidence. You're here too." I nodded weakly, watching her. Anna's injury looked serious, but she carried herself with a quiet strength that was impossible to ignore. She had been captain of the school volleyball team, well known in the city, tough, resilient, and unafraid. Gradually, we started talking. She was naturally warm, easy to be around, and somehow made the room feel lighter. One day, shyly, she said, "Wang, I think maybe our friendship could move a step forward. What do you think?" I waved my hands frantically. "I'm about to take the college entrance exams. Nothing else matters right now." Anna didn't give up. A week later, she was walking again, and she kept showing up during breaks, after school, always bringing something small, candy or my favorite milk. She would chatter endlessly, sticking close to my side, making the long, tense day feel a little brighter. The boys around me were eager to impress, jumping up and offering Anna their chairs as if it were the most normal thing in the world. Slowly, the rumor spread. Anna, the famous graduate, was dating a senior. Everyone thought we were together. I denied it, of course, but the classmates just gave me those looks, the sure, we get it kind that said, "Does it even matter what you say?" One of the guys leaning over whispered, full of curiosity and mischief, "Hey, George, tell me, does Anna really have abs?" I blinked, caught off guard. How would I even know? I hesitated, then answered honestly, "I don't know." "Come on, man, don't keep it from us. We're just curious." Another voice urged, "You know how many guys chase her in 3 years at school, and she never said yes to anyone. And you're her only boyfriend. You must have seen them, right? Were they hot?" I froze, memory flickering back. Did I notice? Maybe. Yeah. Even though she was thin, she was athletic. But before I could explain, a shout cut me off. "Aya, bro, how far did you two go already?" I slammed a hand over his mouth. "I just saw it a few times, okay? Don't make it sound like we did anything." And then, sharp, shattering, the sound of broken glass rang across the classroom. All eyes turned to Willow. She had dropped her cup, and as she crouched to gather the shards, her face was pale, stunned. "Willow, your hand." Makoto shouted, reaching toward her, but she yanked it away. And then, without hesitation, she walked straight toward me. Blood trickled down her fingers, leaving tiny trails on the floor. She looked at me calmly, softly. "I got hurt. George, can I have a Band-Aid?" I froze. Of course she knew I always carried Band-Aids. Because of her. She had always been wild, climbing trees, picking fruit, catching crayfish in the river, scraping knees and elbows along the way. She had saved me countless times as a kid, charging at anyone who tried to hurt me. I remember the time she crashed through glass to protect me, her arms covered in thin red cuts. I had cried then, helpless, as she gritted her teeth and insisted she was fine. From that day on, I always carried Band-Aids, just in case. Even now, that habit stuck. I never relied on her to fight my battles anymore. She teased me once for using Hello Kitty bandages, and I had laughed it off. But seeing her smile then, I knew she actually enjoyed it. I shook my head gently, breaking the memory. "I'm not a doctor. Go to the nurse's office if you're hurt. Your hand's bleeding, not your leg. I don't need to carry you. Besides, isn't there someone else now?" I said, and for the first time, Willow didn't look surprised. The color drained from her face. She let out a small, self-mocking laugh. "Got it," she murmured, and just like that, the sparkle in her eyes dimmed. After school, Makoto cornered me behind the classroom. "We need to talk," he said, his usual grin nowhere in sight, his face dead serious. Honestly, I was getting annoyed. Why did everyone keep coming to me? They were in a relationship. I was just trying to live my life. We shouldn't even cross paths. So why was one confronting me today and another demanding a talk tomorrow? Makoto stared at me, his eyes sharp. "I really don't get it. You're just a nerd who only knows how to study. Why does she care about you so much?" I almost laughed. "Cut the indirect talk. If you've got something to say, just say it." His expression darkened, frustration tightening his jaw. "You must be pretty pleased with yourself. Huh? Willow might be with me now, but her heart is still with you. She saw you with another girl and went absolutely nuts. She hasn't talked to me for days. I really don't get it. What's so great about a clueless guy like you?" I raised an eyebrow. "She just got emotional and slapped me once, and you think I'd make up with her? You're mad because your fragile pride got hurt. Throwing away a lifelong friendship over one slap. Seriously, that's selfish and petty," he finished, the indignation clear in his voice. I listened quietly, then shrugged. "You don't need to test me. I'm not going to make up with her." He stiffened. I chuckled. "Being sent by your girlfriend to test another guy's feelings. That's awkward, huh? But don't worry. I'll treat her like a stranger from now on. I'm George. I don't take back what I throw away." Tell Willow the same thing I've always said. Stay the hell away from me. Makoto's expression twisted, a mix of guilt, humiliation, and confusion. I walked away, hearing his voice call after me, laced with reluctant frustration. George, just because of that one slap, just for that, yes, just for that. I didn't tone. My answer was simple, calm, unchanging. Yes, just for that. That night, my phone rang from an unknown number. I answered on instinct. George. It was Willow, probably a new SIM card. Are you done yet? I was about to hang up when she stopped me. Wait, please just listen to me. I stayed silent. Her voice was hoarse, trembling. I read that diary. For a moment, my mind went blank. She meant the diary I'd kept since I was 10, the one she had given me, the one where I recorded every little thought, every crush, every hope about her, year after year. I had imagined one day handing it to her, a lifelong confession sealed in ink. I'm sorry, George, she whispered. I read your diary. I never knew you liked me that much. I'm sorry for ignoring your feelings all these years. Honestly, I regretted slapping you the moment I did it. All these years, I never just saw you as a little brother. I cut her off. Calm, steady, final. I know you picked the diary up. But after all this time, you're only reading it now. You never asked me before, did you? Because you never cared in the first place. Her voice went weak. But now, with people saying I'm dating someone else, you feel threatened. You think your position is in danger. So today, months later, you finally decide to stoop down and read that dusty old diary. Isn't that it? George, that's not... I didn't let her finish. Late apologies and confessions don't fix the past. What you're doing now just makes you look cheap. That diary? It means nothing now. Throw it away. Don't call me again. Don't look for me either. You're really annoying. And just like that, I hung up. My birthday was a week away. My parents had planned a party and told me to invite classmates. But after all that had happened, I wasn't sure I wanted anyone there. At first, I didn't want to invite Willow or anyone else, but lately, they've been behaving. So I handed out the invitations fairly, and I even shamelessly asked for one too. On the day of the party, I dressed up, trying to keep things simple. And then she arrived. Willow, flawless as ever, her makeup perfect, and Makoto right by her side in a crisp white suit, holding her hand like he owned it. The moment he saw me, he quickly let go, but immediately wrapped his arm around her tighter, sticking to her like glue. Willow's expression was unreadable. I didn't acknowledge them. I walked straight past, toward the adults, keeping my distance. The party was lively, a swirl of laughter and music, but it drained me more than it cheered me. Eventually, I slipped away onto the terrace, craving a breath of cool night air. That's when I heard the steps behind me. Even if I didn't want to admit it, I recognized them instantly. We'd known each other for too long. Can we talk, George? Her voice was hoarse. I turned and met her eyes, red and puffy, tired but still familiar. Of course, I said, expressionless. But if possible, I hope this is the last time. Her face went pale, a bitter laugh escaping her lips. Does it really have to be like this between us, George? No matter what I say, you won't forgive me, will you? I looked away. I don't understand. Didn't you always like me? You know it. I like you too. We were just one step away from confessing. So why are you treating me like this? For the first time, she said it aloud. She liked me too. But it came out under these circumstances, heavy with the weight of old grudges and that single, unforgettable slap. I nodded without hesitation. Yes, because of that one slap. I heard it that day. Willow hadn't slapped me out of pure anger. The day before, on the way home from school, I had seen Makoto giving her a ride. But then they took a detour, a turn away from the familiar streets of our neighborhood. Unease tightened my chest, and I followed. Willow and her friends had brought Makoto into a hot pot restaurant. Laughter, chatter, teasing filled the air. He's been by your side since elementary school, basically childhood sweethearts, one friend said. So does he like you or not? Willow laughed lightly, brushing it off. I mean, I do like him, but I'm not interested in dating. He's too dull, boring. Makoto's voice chimed in, grinning. Exactly. Once he likes someone, he never stops. He's always looking for someone to lean on. Even now, I could feel it, the way he thought he understood her, how he underestimated me. And yet, even as he smirked, I knew the truth. No matter how much he tried to impress him, no matter how much he tried to show off, I was the one she had grown up with. I was the one who had loved her with everything I had. That's why she had feelings for me. But in the end, we weren't a good match. She could think I was good-looking, think I was dependable, but it didn't change the fact that we had drifted, that our hearts no longer beat in sync. You think I'm passive, unassertive, not like Makoto, confident, charming, always presentable. So eventually, you'd be drawn to someone like him. And even if it wasn't Makoto, it would have been someone else, the next sweet, irresistible guy, nothing like me but just as attractive. But what you shouldn't have done is use me as your stepping stone. I let out a cold laugh. How dare you slap me? Who do you think you are, Willow? For someone you'd only known a few months? Her face went blank, all color drained, hope evaporating from her eyes. Deep down, she knew I had seen through her selfish desire, and that alone had silenced her. She couldn't argue anymore. She stood there, frozen, a single tear tracing her cheek. George, do you not love me anymore? I never loved you, I said, without hesitation. Her lips went pale, her entire expression lost. I met her eyes, steady and honest. I used to like you. I liked you for a long time because you always looked out for me as a kid. That affection, it lived inside a fantasy I built around you. It didn't need your response to survive. It existed within me. But not long ago, I let it go. Why? She whispered, like a sleepwalker. Because even now, whenever I see you, my face still stings. I said, flat, emotionless. Her color drained completely. Later, Willow broke up with Makoto. I never asked why. Even with the college entrance exams looming, Makoto applied to transfer out, leaving Willow strangely changed. She stopped seeing her old friends. She followed me everywhere, bringing breakfast in the mornings, saving a spot for me in the cafeteria, quietly walking behind me after school. It was like we were back in elementary school. No, better than that. She was trying to make up for all the years she had ignored me, trying to take care of me. I couldn't shake her off. No one could reason with her. And just as things reached that unbearable closeness, my parents' company announced an overseas assignment, ironically to my mom's hometown. We decided to move right after the exams. I didn't tell anyone beforehand. A few classmates got quick goodbye messages, but Willow, she was the last to find out. Somehow, she tracked me down, asked in her soft, anxious voice, "After you move, you're not coming back, are you?" I ignored her. The final days before the exams were filled with silent tension and study. On exam day, someone in Willow's room told me she had filled her answer sheet with my name. She failed, forced to consider retaking the exams. When I received my acceptance letter, we packed. Willow ran after our car, her body straining, her arms reaching, screaming my name over the roar of the wind. "George, don't go. Please, don't leave. I can't live without you." Makoto tried to steady her, but she shoved him away. I watched from the front seat, silently, as the figure who had been by my side for 10 years fell, trembling, rose again, and shrank in the distance. Smaller and smaller, until all that remained was a tiny, blurred dot. And then, gone. Later, whispers reached me from old classmates. Some said she had been crushed, dull and lifeless, repeating the year. Others said she spiraled, reckless, shifting friends constantly. Some said she buried herself in study, chasing a university with precision. I didn't care to know more. Anna and I went to the same university. Naturally, we ended up together. In the first few years, a package arrived every birthday, anonymous, unsigned, but I recognized the return address. I accepted them, then had them sent back, collect on delivery, using the same slip. It wasn't until my junior year that I finally confessed to Anna. She insisted, and we made our relationship public. After that, the yearly gift stopped. And in that silence, I realized this is enough. It should have ended long ago. This was the end. And also the beginning of my life.